Good morning, everybody. It's August 13th, 2015, and I'm in Northern Alberta, Canada. And this is an update from my video from September 19th, 2014, where we were having extreme forest health problems, and we weren't getting any help from our government agencies that are supposed to protect these things. So these are some of the samples I've taken this year in 2015. Originally, these branches just started falling from the trees, and you know, they're not looking good. These leaves aren't looking normal. You know, this fell in early July, and it's still, I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's like this. Some of them were sprayed with shellac. You can see it really well on this one. That's what they all looked like when they first fell. It was shiny like this. And I'm guessing that it's their sap sitting on the outside. Maybe the little breathing, I think it's called stomata. Please, you know, I'm not a plant biologist or anything, so, but in my understanding, when the plant breathes and exchanges carbon dioxide for oxygen, it has little holes on it called stomata that open up and breathe and take stuff in, and when it gets hot it closes down. And so what this looks like is that those little holes have stayed open and let all the sap leak from them, and it would be like bleeding to death. Now these ones, it was the exact same thing last year, that we were told this was fall degradation. This one was taken just outside of Edmonton. It was taken on August 7th, and the leaves are still malleable. Totally crunch them up. They're not dry. They're, you know, I don't know if you can see what's happening here in the film, but this should be, if it's brown like that, it should be dried up, and it's not. This is willow, same issues as we had last year. The black poplar, again, really affected. Most of the canopy of the forest and tree lines is dead. And it appears to be fallout from the sky, perhaps maybe geoengineering, because they're releasing all kinds of metals and sulfurs into our atmosphere under the guise that they're trying to combat climate change. Well, climate change is caused by pollution, so maybe we shouldn't try and combat pollution with more pollution. These programs are happening all over the world. If you're unfamiliar with the term geoengineering, please go to geoengineeringwatch.org, and all the information you need to know about it is there. These programs are in full swing. If you check your government websites, they'll also have links, but nobody's reporting on it. Not the media, not environmental agencies. It's like everybody has been stifled, and but that seems to be a common thing in Canada these days. Something that's seems to be happening with them all too is that when I'm taking these samples, they all have this little sick-looking core. And this is on big plants as well. Some of the trees we had to fall because, of course, they were dead, and they have this same sick-looking inside. I'm going to go outside now and show you what's going on the live trees. Okay, so we're outside now. This is where I started my video last year. And we started with the black poplar, so I'll show you what the little black poplar looked like again this year. Now these plants, trees, are almost like weeds. They are so hardy. And so to see them all so very sick is a big indicator of something wrong. Like whether the soil be toxic from geoengineering and weather modification programs, or the rain be toxic from industry or geoengineering and weather modification programs. It's killing everything. The birch are decimated here. This tree leafed out, you can see the leaves, and then it just started dying. And for no cause. They're saying that we're having a drought here in Alberta. Well, we had a dry spell in some areas that affected the farmers, but we didn't have that here. We had a little bit of a dry spell, but it should never affect the trees like this. This is chemical. You can see that there's probably about 10 birch in this picture, and as I slowly go up, you'll see that they've all lost their leaves. It's kind of hard to tell, I guess, on the video camera. But okay, so we're going to move on. Here's the willow. You can see they're all sick. There's lots of tall grass and nettles and stuff in here, so I have trouble going into the forest in certain areas where I'm going to try and show you. But here's okay, I'm going to pause again for a sec. Okay, so we're at the same willow that I started my video again with last year. We're only a couple feet from that birch, but it was hard for me to get over here because it's rough terrain. So they're sick again. It's completely different weather, you know, whether it be dry or moist. This pest is thriving on the willow, and that's an indicator that there's something wrong with their immunity. But there's something wrong with the immunity of all plants. Now, last year I showed you this willow as well, and I have pictures of this willow trying to push buds in December. In the middle of our winter, it's trying to push buds. And this spring, it did get a few little leaves on them, and you can see as soon as they come out, they died, and then the whole branches followed. Okay, so here's some mature birch up there. They're already yellowing, losing their leaves. There's the tops of some more dead ones. You know, here's an example of what is for hundreds of miles, as far as I can see. As far as I've traveled in my province this year, I see sickness everywhere. Like, this isn't just a small area. This is everywhere that I've seen. Okay, this is wild spinach, and usually it turns the most beautiful red color, and you know, it's beautiful. It's almost ornamental. And for some reason this year it's turned this terrible, terrible brown. It almost reminds me of when they desiccate the crops like canola and wheat. They spray them now with chemicals to dry them, and they turn a real god-awful color. This is what that reminds me of. This unnatural color. And I don't know if this is from, you know, the pesticides and the glyphosates coming into our water system. I don't know, but I'm not the one that is expected to know. Our government and our environmental agencies are the ones that should be investigating this. And they choose to rub it off every year. Like last year they said fall degradation. Fall does not start in July. These trees were my first indicator last year. They turned this terrible yellow, and that was, I think I started filming them August 8th, and then this year, of course, their branches are very, very sparse. You couldn't even see through this tree 2 years ago in the summer. Here's another little guy. Now this one was in the video, and I explained how it had leafed out last spring, and then started losing its leaves in July, and by the end of August it was bare. And this year only the lower branches came back. It might be hard to see because we're up against the sun again, but I'm so thankful for a sunny day. We're in the sunniest part of Canada, and yet we rarely have blue skies anymore because of geoengineering programs, solar radiation management to be specific. It blocks the sun. They're hoping to cool the earth by blocking the sun and preventing us from seeing it. And that's what could cause the plant sickness. We all need the sun. It's like our power. And so without it, our immunities weaken and we become sick. Whether you're a plant, a vole, a person, it doesn't matter. But look at the bark on this. It's kind of got this funny orange hue. And I didn't really understand that until I've recently learned that the Ministry of Natural Resources in Canada is spraying our forests with a herbicide called Vision Max. And I don't know why they want to defoliate our forests, but look it up. Ministry of Natural Resources, Vision Max, and you will see many links showing where it's used. And the one thing I can't seem to figure out is why. Anyways, these trees were perfectly healthy last spring. They, as you can see, it was just terrible. They did their best to leaf out and came in very sparse, and then it's been losing its leaves since the beginning of June. And the leaves on this one are very, very sickly looking. We'll just come here. I've collected them, so there's not very many laying on the ground, but that's no drought. This is not natural. This is something getting into them, getting onto them. I'm not sure. But it's time that somebody investigate, and I implore all of you, no matter where you are in the world, please contact your government. Contact the opposition parties, not necessarily the elected officials. The opposition want firepower as to what their opposition is doing wrong or what they're not doing, and they need letters and they need pictures, because a lot of people live in the big cities and they wouldn't know this is happening in the forest. And I'm starting to find little dead creatures on my land, little things that are very private, like voles. I found 2 dead voles, and they were just laying out in the open, dead, unmarked. They had just died. And you'll see these 2, they've got those splits and that funny orange bark. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up here. I just wanted to show you a bit more on the poplar trees. Okay, I'm sorry I'm running so long again with this, but I needed to show you our tamarack. We lost 3 mature tamarack over the winter. These were healthy last summer and they kept their needles normally, and then over the winter they flashed out dead. We started noticing the bark peeling off, November, December, and then it was just left gaping holes. I know it's hard to see because of the sun. If you can look in between the branches there on the spruce, I'm trying to get in here. There we go. Okay, you can see that. Look at the lower thing. And that beautiful tree, 42 years old, just flashed out dead. And then you can see this birch had some branches on it and it just died. It's an older one. That happens with the older ones, but this one again, leafed out, dying. Okay, so I'm going to bid you guys farewell. Please, people, if you see weird anomalies in nature, record them, take pictures. You can see up there that the total canopy is turned yellow again on the healthy trees, and those tops will probably be dead next spring. And we can't do this. We can't allow a whole species of birch to be wiped out in 2 years. And the black poplar, they're going to be gone if we don't act. Look at my spruce now. This little guy, he just tipped right over and then died. Please, people, call your environmental agencies. This is the only system we have. We have to do something. Notify people. Contact media. Ask them to do a story. Ask them why. Contact natural resources and ask them why the hell they're using herbicides on our forests. You know, what can survive being sprayed with this stuff? Especially Vision Max, which has been compared to Agent Orange. You know, why would we do this? Please, people, take action. Thank you for watching. Love and light to you all.